You can spend years building thick arms and a heavy chest, but the moment you put on a standard t-shirt, those gains often disappear into a narrow, sloped silhouette. The common reaction is to simply work harder, assuming that looking small is a direct result of not lifting enough weight. This logic leads most lifters to the heavy overhead press station, where they grind through high-volume sets in hopes of forcing their frame to expand. Standard overhead pressing builds mass along the vertical plane, but it rarely addresses the specific muscles required to push the shoulder caps outward. Building a wider frame is a matter of mechanical targeting. You have to isolate the specific tissues that physically expand your skeletal structure. Without changing the angle of your lifts to address these structural gaps, you can add all the weight you want and still look average in a t-shirt. The side deltoid is the primary muscle responsible for the outward flare of the upper body. It is the architectural key to a visible V-taper. Most training attempts fail because lifters use heavy dumbbells and rely on excessive momentum during standing lateral raises. This swinging motion creates a force vector that bypasses the side deltoid. The weight moves via momentum, not muscle. Leaning away changes the physics. This angle places the side deltoid under constant tension from start to finish. Switch to a lighter weight and maintain absolute control. As you reach the top of the movement, tilt your pinky slightly upward to increase the contraction on the lateral head. Removing momentum forces the side deltoid to carry the entire load, which is the only way to trigger actual outward growth. Even with developed side delts, a frame can still look narrow if the rear of the shoulder joint is neglected. Notice how the chest pulls the shoulder joints forward. Without the rear delts, shoulders rotate inward, physically shortening the distance between your caps. Strengthening the rear deltoid acts as an anchor, pulling the humerus back and lengthening your upper frame. Use a cable machine for face pulls, pulling the rope toward your forehead while keeping your elbows high. Squeeze your shoulder blades together for a full second at the end of every rep to lock in the correction. This adjustment doesn't just add muscle, it repositions your existing frame to its widest possible state. To complete the silhouette, you need a rounded, three-dimensional cap on the very top of the shoulder joint. Standard gym equipment often fails to hit the front deltoids at the extreme angles required to build that specific roundness. The pike push-up is one of the most effective ways to build this 3D look. By shifting your weight into an inverted V, you place the peak of the force directly onto the anterior and medial delt. Lower your head toward the floor with control and push back up explosively. The primary goal here is to maximize the vertical load on the shoulder caps rather than the chest. Adding volume to the top of the joint makes the shoulder complex look significantly wider, even when your arms are resting at your sides. Training with this level of biomechanical precision is only the first step. The time you spend moving weights is actually a small fraction of the growth process. If you train for 60 minutes, your body spends the next 23 hours repairing that damage. In terms of biological investment, the workout is roughly 30% of the work. The remaining 70% is determined by tissue rebuilding and hormonal resets. Rebuilding shoulder tissue requires a consistent intake of 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day. You don't need expensive supplements to meet this requirement. Focus on high-density staples like eggs, lentils, soy, and chicken. Finally, aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. This is when the body resets the hormones necessary to actually synthesize that protein into new muscle. Aligning these gym mechanics with a strict recovery schedule is the most direct path to widening a narrow frame.